high definition for the Singapore Grand Prix.
Previously on F1.
Vettel takes the victory. Lewis Hamilton wins. Stunning. I love this new Formula One. He's on the ground.
He's got weight.
Alonso wins. What a race. He seems as if he can do no wrong behind the wheel.
Round 14, Singapore.
And all the people of the lulled and dumbfound town are sleeping now. Hush, the babies are sleeping. The farmers, the fishers, the tradesmen and pensioners, cobbler, schoolteacher, postman and publican, the undertaker and the fancy woman, drunkard, dressmaker, preacher, policeman, the web-foot cockle women and the tidy wives. Young girls lie bedded soft or glide in their dreams with rings and trousseau, bridesmaided by glowworms down the aisles of the organ-playing wood. You can hear the dew falling and the hushed town breathing. Only your eyes are unclosed to see the black unfolded town fast and slow asleep.
And with the sound of those engines, you do well to find anybody asleep in this city tonight. You know, Dylan Thomas said that when he wrote that poem, he did so to reassert the beauty in the world. And what could be more beautiful for Sebastian Vettel than winning the Formula One World Championship at the very first opportunity? Good evening, or good afternoon, where you are, and welcome to the 2011 Singapore Grand Prix. And good evening and welcome to David Coulthard and Eddie Jordan. So, David, it's just gone 7 o'clock in the evening here. It's 31 degrees, unbelievably humid. There might be some rain in the air. If Sebastian is going to do it today, he's going to have to do it the hard way, isn't he?
Well, he has to win this Grand Prix, and the rest is out of his hands. It all comes down to where the opposition finish. Any one of his main contenders get on the podium, then it will go to another Grand Prix. But if it was to fall tonight, would anyone really begrudge him? What an incredible season he's had.
And what a great place as well to win a world title. Eddie, youngest ever point scorer, youngest ever pole sitter, youngest ever race winner, youngest world champion, could become the youngest double world champion. What do the rest of the guys in the hunt need to do just to keep the pressure on him that little bit longer and delay him celebrating?
I don't really think it's in their hands in many respects, because who's on pole position? No big surprise, Sebastian Vettel. I think he'll just drive away. And they'll all squabble over each other, and who knows what's going to happen. Lewis Hamilton probably have a good race and be absolutely Sebastian's best friend for once, and win the championship for him. I agree with David. A very fitting place to crown a world championship here.
Yeah, Formula One drivers being best friends with each other doesn't happen very often, that. And if we just take a quick look at the calendar, it's interesting because people are saying, oh, it'd be a real shame for the title to be wrapped up, but that doesn't mean that the exciting racing ends. David, when you were racing against Michael Schumacher in 2002, he won the world title with 6 races to go. How did you maintain your drive for the rest of that season?
Well, very simply, these guys are racers. you take any opportunity to go out there and race with your competition. The fact that someone else may have done a better job or had a better opportunity in that year doesn't mean that you don't want to play at the next event. You know, they will go to the next Grand Prix if he did wrap it up this weekend, and they'll be fighting for the honour of winning the Grand Prix. They'll be fighting for the honour of beating their teammate. It really is an irrelevance. The only person it really matters to is the guy that just won the championship.
I think if we recall the conversation we had with Lewis yesterday, he is so determined to actually win races. He knows the championship effectively is completely gone. This is Vettel's championship back-to-back, and he deserves all the accolades that he deserves, and it's right and fitting. But I think the focus and the mentality of all of these drivers is they've got to win at all costs. Yeah. So I don't see any problem about keeping the interest alive until the end of the season.
Well, perhaps it motivates the rest. When you were at Jordan, did you used to say to your guys, look at Ferrari, look at Michael Schumacher, let's be as good as they are?
Well, I think one thing that is interesting, you also have to think of the following season. And we talked, Lewis, he talks about hoping that the car is going to be right for next year. What is the worrying point for a lot of the teams? Red Bull have won the championship very early. It means they can now concentrate on next year's car, whereas traditionally it goes to the wire and people don't actually get all of the people working on next year's car, but Red Bull have that opportunity to do that this year.
He could have made that a lot shorter answer by just saying that, have you seen Jerry Maguire? Because that's how Eddie used to run his team. It was all about the money.
Absolutely. But it's a good point. The point
is he suggesting that he never considered money in your contracts?
Of course I did. Of course I did.
Should we let these two bicker into the night? We'll carry on talking about Sebastian Vettel, because he arrived on the scene 4 years ago as a bit of an unknown quantity. When he arrived here this weekend, everybody knew him, and everybody knew just how good he is.
Seems absolutely invincible. Amazing lap from Vettel, the reigning world champion. Stunning.
Fantastic set.
Utterly dominant performance.
That was a champion's stride.
He's rewriting the record books. Vettel is the man with the speed.
Are we witnessing one of the true greats, the legends of the sport?
You beauty.
I love you. Thank you very much.
And he's had the sound of those winds reverberating in his ears all year long. I bet he's enjoyed that. What makes it even worse, David, you see him arriving at the racetrack. He looks like a schoolboy arriving for double maths. It's horrible.
You actually look quite young yourself for a 30-year-old. Yeah, he does look incredibly young, but he has got a steely edge to him. Yeah. And you just see the way he walks around, the way he works with the engineers. I thought what you highlighted yesterday, where he was the only driver pre-season who went to meet with the Pirelli factory, the Pirelli engineers. I bet you, Michael Schumacher, would be thinking, maybe I would have done that in my first career.
I bet. And just looking at this beautiful paddock, Eddie, as we look up and down here, considering one guy has dominated, we've had record viewing figures in the UK. People are still turning up. Everybody's still excited and enthralled by Formula One. It hasn't dampened the sport in any way.
I think it's added. I think not just forget the show, because that's what people either like or dislike. I think the excitement, I think the world champions, 5 of them, and they're all brilliant in their own right, and they have brought something special to this particular championship, not just this year, last year, and hopefully in the future. We are very fortunate because each of these drivers, in my opinion, have all been hugely worthy world champions, and they've been great ambassadors for the sport. And you can't ask for much more than that, because they are doing the media stuff, they're making sure that Formula One is in the right place in the media centre, and it drives people and traffic to these races.
OK, and just to show you how things actually do look in the standings at the moment, it's a 112-point lead for Sebastian. He needs to increase that to 125 to win here this weekend. David, what's impressed you most about Sebastian? Has it been the hot, fast laps when he needs them, or the consistency, or the fact that he can run and hide in the races, or takes all these pole positions? What is it?
Well, the thing I think that's been most impressive is, and of course, without wanting to tempt fate, as we've still got a few Grand Prix left, is that he's made any mistakes this year have been made in free practice.
Yeah.
You know, he has crashed the car in Turkey, he has crashed the car in Canada in free practice, but he's been absolutely faultless when it comes to delivering that single lap in qualifying and then racing wheel to wheel and going for these race victories.
And looking at the constructors' battle, Eddie, the team, for a relatively young team, 5 or 6 years old, they seem incredibly well organised this year, Red Bull.
Well, we've seen it so many times. I think I gave them probably one of the biggest compliments that you can do, and that is they are so much in control. And that's verified yesterday. Vettel always seems to be nearly the last driver over the line, and guess what? Pole position. And if it's not him, it's Mark Webber. They've done a remarkable job. So the consistency, they do have a great car in Adrian Newey's design car. They do have 2 brilliant drivers. But nevertheless, to do it week in, week out is a very demanding thing, and the team needs full praise for that.
So few things are missing, of course, from the Red Bull CV. Two of those things: victory here in Singapore, pole position here in Singapore. So good to get the weekend off to a perfect start. Well, Ted Kravitz can report on what happened yesterday in qualifying.
Qualifying in Singapore saw F1's finest threading their way through the streets, kissing the wall in search of the perfect lap. And while the pace was a little slower for some, the session delivered its fair share of incident and controversy. Kamui Kobayashi got it all wrong at the chicane and starts down in 17th. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel sat in the pits keeping his cool, while Lewis Hamilton and Felipe Massa lost theirs. A squabble over track position left Massa criticising Hamilton's impatience.
I think he was a little bit too much, So everybody's just low in front. I mean, trying to pass, we almost touched, so he didn't use his mind one more time.
Once past Massa, Lewis's first lap will be good enough for fourth on the grid, but it was his team that cost him the opportunity to improve. They couldn't fill his car up with petrol in time for a final attempt, leaving Hamilton having to hang up his gloves early and call it a day.
We came in, tried to refuel the car, and they had a fueling problem, so we were running out of time bit by bit, and we just couldn't get enough fuel into the car, so we were too late to get going, and unfortunately we weren't able to get our second run.
Hamilton wasn't the only one sat in the pits. Both Adrian Sutil and Paul di Resta chose not to compete in the top 10 shootout because they wanted to save their new tyres for the race. That may give them an edge today, but it made for a rather dull end to their qualifying.
I think even if we had gone out on a new set, our performance today was definitely not good enough to be any further up the grid in terms of another manufacturer.
Mercedes was 7th and 8th, Michael Schumacher also deciding not to do a final lap to save tyres. Felipe Massa recovered from his quarrel with Hamilton to end up 6th, just behind Fernando Alonso, whose race pace is very good, leaving the Spaniard optimistic for today.
The podium is achievable and is a real possibility. Winning the race is not out of the question, but we need some help from the others.
That left Jenson Button to prove that when it has petrol in the tank, the McLaren is quick. Third the result. But the fastest car round Singapore is a Red Bull, and they locked out the front row. Mark Webber 4/10 behind the king of qualifying, Sebastian Vettel. Pole position, and one step closer to wrapping up this year's World Championship.
Well, if Mark does one of his special starts he's done for the last few races, I'll be chuffed to bits. But in the end, he's going to stop making bad starts. And it's pretty tricky here into turn one. It's a short straight down to turn one. We'll see what happens.
Overall satisfied. I can start the race there. Obviously, I heard Jensen talking about my starts, but I'm not overly bothered. I've got thick skin and it's a long race.
You have a fair chance if you're fastest around here to win the race, but equally, I think you have a very good chance if you're smart, if you're able to listen to your car, your tires. It's a long race. It's nearly 2 hours or just 2 hours long. It's the longest we have all season.
So Vettel on pole for the 11th time this season. It's Red Bull's 5th front row lockout of 2011. Button and Hamilton looking to take advantage of Webber's recent poor starts. They line up 2 by 2 for the rest of the top 10, Ferrari, Mercedes and Force India. An improved showing from Williams, 12th and 13th. Quite the opposite for Renault, just 15th and 18th for Bruno Senna and Vitaly Petrov, while Lotus, Virgin and HRT take their usual places at the back.
And from the back to the front, we've made our way out here into the pit lane. And this is the car that's been on pole position for 11 of the Grand Prix this year, Sebastian Vettel's Red Bull. It was kind of a snapshot, I suppose, of the whole season yesterday qualifying, wasn't it? We knew the man at the very front, so it turned into a decision over who was going to finish sort of second in the championship. And the answer to that, Mark Webber was the second man. We'll speak into these guys and Christian in just a couple of moments, but first I just want to show you Mark Webber's car because he was second yesterday and he really, really needed that second place. He's had a struggle in the last few races, didn't finish his first race of the season in Monza last time out, but well done, Mark. So it's an all Red Bull front row for the 5th time this season. As I speak to you, David Neddy disappearing off to pick up a couple of drivers. Let's see who they've got. I think David, first of all, is with Paul di Resta. David.
Thanks, Jake. So, Paul, first time in Singapore. How's it going so far? You must be happy with the qualifying.
Yeah, I think given the circumstances on Friday, missing all of FP2, it was always going to be a tough challenge building your confidence round here. But we got both cars into Q3. It was a little bit behind Adrian, a small mistake, but nothing out with that we can't certainly challenge for good points today.
Well, certainly a good result for Force India. The first time I've had 2 cars in the top 10 since last year. So, certainly the pressure was on you by missing that Friday practice session. So how did you sort of play catch up on this track? Is this down to what you did before with simulator, or is it just looking at the data and getting out there and sniffing the tarmac?
I reasonably got up to speed quite quick, but I think the simulator helps. As we've arrived here, we went into qualifying, no changes over the weekend because it's been completely unknown, and all we can really reference our performance on is the other chassis and tyre wear. So it's going to be a big unknown. I've not done any high fuel runs, so the degradation, I'm not sure how it's going to be. But all you can really do is go with an aggressive strategy that's hopefully going to keep us in front of Saubers and pressure Mercedes in front.
Presumably you've been listening to all the other drivers who've raced here saying about how tough this event is. Presumably you've got a different program here to make sure that you're physically prepared.
Yeah, I mean, this is madly tough. You sweat a lot. You're going to lose a lot of liquid, even to the point where I think we're going to have to weigh before the race just to make sure the car weight at the end of the race is going to be right. It's a long 2 hours. It probably goes the full distance. And obviously when you're fighting mid-pack, it's a fight all the way to the end.
Well, we wish you luck. Back to Eddie.
Thank you, David. And I'm here with Kamui. Kamui, we saw you yesterday. Spectacular. Flying over those curbs and straight into the wall. What happened?
Well, I mean, it's first of all, I mean, I was very surprised because, I mean, usually I was taking same curve, but I mean, I think first curve moving to next one, and next one I was in the middle of the car, so I was flying over and end up in the wall, which is quite surprised, and this is what pointed to.
Are the curbs fair? Is this Formula One?
Well, I mean, this is not really my favorite corner, and definitely not nice for Formula One as well, because it's a bit too high.
In the past, we've seen some really amazing moves by you in the race when you qualified further back, and that's exactly what's happened here. Are we going to expect the same? Are we going to see you drive through the field today?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, today I'm quite confident, and this track, with DRS system, we have a lot of overtaking chance as well. It's quite a long race, like 150 minutes last year. So it's going to be a lot of chance for myself and try to make really great race here.
I, for one, am looking forward to it. Back to you, Jake.
Well, a difficult day yesterday for Kamui Kobayashi. He starts 17th, and that is the man starting second on the grid, Mark Webber. And I'm here with Christian Horner, the team principal at Red Bull. Well done yesterday, the perfect start to the weekend. Give us some idea of the mood in the Red Bull camp today.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was a phenomenal day to get both cars on the front row. Was a phenomenal team performance. And, obviously, effectively, it's the first match point available for Sebastian, but we're not going into the race focused on that. We're going into the race focused on trying to capitalise what we achieved yesterday and try and get to the end of the race in the positions that we qualified. That would be a dream result for us at this venue.
It would be a dream result because if it did finish as it starts, it wouldn't give you the title here.
For us, we can't control what else goes on. That's beyond our control. We can only control what we do in the race, and it's a long, tough. It's going to be probably 2-hour race. It's tough on the cars. It's tough on the drivers. Who knows what's going to happen with safety cars, etc. So it's going to be a long evening, and we're not focused on the championships. We're focused on getting the best out of this Grand Prix.
And of course, it's your job, and it's the job of the man that we can see in the back of the garage behind us, the current Formula One world champion, to play down the fact that this weekend the title could be won. But have you had a chat with Sebastian? Have you discussed how he approaches this race and the 5 races after this?
Yeah, absolutely. I just told him to enjoy it, and you could see that he's enjoying his driving at the moment. His confidence is high. He's not cruising and collecting. You saw that very clearly in Monza with that pass he made on Fernando. And, he's going to attack this race with the same vigour that he has every other this so far this season. So, and then the championships will tend to take care of themselves.
OK, and Seb's lost the pole position at the last 2 race starts. Mark's lost 20 places at the starts this year. Are you confident you've got that sorted now? It's a short run down to the first corner, which I guess helps out a bit here.
Well, statistically, when you start on the pole at every Grand Prix, as we have, you can only go backwards. You can't make positions up.
Oh, that's the problem. You're too fast. Is that what you're saying?
Other people's statistics will obviously look better, but it's a short run to the first turn. It's important to get a good start. We know the Ferrari is a great starting car. We're thankful it's on the 3rd row. The McLarens are good starters as well. So, we just need to make sure we get off the line well with both drivers. OK, good luck, and next year start qualifying 15th, 16th, and your stats will look brilliant. And talking of stats and facts and figures, this is what Christian hopes will happen today, because this is the maths that will give Sebastian Vettel the Formula One world title today.
Sebastian Vettel can win the championship if he finishes on the podium this weekend, but there are plenty of other scenarios to factor in. If Vettel wins the Grand Prix, then he'll also win the title if neither Jenson Button or Mark Webber finish higher than third. Fernando Alonso would also have to finish off the podium. If Vettel finishes second in the race, then for him to win the championship, Button and Webber would need to finish no higher than fifth, and Alonso no higher than eighth. Lewis Hamilton must not finish in front of Vettel. If the current world champion wants to make it back-to-back victories and he finishes third in the race, Button and Webber must be no better than seventh and Alonso no higher than ninth. Only once has Sebastian Vettel not made it onto the podium this season, and it would take a very brave person to bet against him as he bids to join the exclusive club of back-to-back world champions. When he joins it depends on the fate of the other challengers.
And Sebastian Vettel's chance will come in less than half an hour. The pit lane is open. Now, that's Mark Webber's garage, and if you just step away from the garage, you can see that there is only the one camera there taking a look at Mark Webber. And now have a little look behind us and just take a peek at the interest in Sebastian Vettel. Probably 20, 30 cameras outside this garage, everybody wondering how he's going to do this weekend. The question is, how will he do? Who is his biggest threat behind him, do you think, Eddie?
Well, look, we've talked about it. There's lots of world champions lurking in the background there, and they're going to be all tough competitors, make no mistake. But, you know, I just want to get this title championship out of my mind. I want an exciting, fast race that anything can happen.
And as far as Mark Webber's concerned, Jenson's already issued a warning. Jenson's on the clean side, right behind Mark Webber. There could be fireworks at the start there.
Well, indeed, that's all the psychological games that the drivers play. I'm on the clean side, so watch me go. But McLaren certainly have got every reason to be confident. Their starts have been good this year. OK, well, there's been a big year, hasn't it, for Sebastian Vettel. However, you could argue that at some times there's been more interest and more written and more said about Lewis Hamilton. It seems that wherever he goes, he gets the headlines all about him. It's kind of hard to forget that sometimes this is very much a team sport.
So if we just take a quick look at this, so this is 8 o'clock, Thursday evening. You've got guys sorting out tyres right here. You've got both your car and Jenson's car being worked on. You've probably got 20 or 30 people here milling around making sure your weekend is going to be perfect. Do you love to see this attention to detail?
I do. I think it's very neat. I mean, all the guys here making sure that the tyres are all mounted right, the weight of the tyres are all, all the tyres are in balance.
Yeah. You'll wreck most of these before the end of this weekend, won't you?
I look after my tyres.
Do you?
What are you talking about?
You're just behind Red Bull in the pit stop standings, do you know that?
In terms of what?
In terms of the speed of your pit stops, I think you're a 10th behind Red Bull in the standings.
Yeah, I think we're a 10th behind, but in terms of consistency, I think
you're there.
A bit further behind. No, we're further behind there.
Oh, are you?
They've been massively consistent on their stops all year. That's something we're trying to improve on. And I'm constantly talking to these guys here, and they're usually getting a near fall from me.
It can get a bit much though. I remember, was it in Hungary where you were fighting tooth and nail?
Well, it's difficult for them because they can't always see where you are on the track.
Right.
We have a GPS thing, so they'll speak where they think is the right position, and it could be when I'm braking for a corner. It can easily put you off, so it can be sometimes very distracting.
By the way, I like the fact they get nice air conditioning while you're sweltering in the car here. Because for you guys, this is one of the toughest, isn't it? One of the toughest.
It is, but it's quite cool right now, actually. This is a lot cooler than it is normally.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll get hotter.
Jenson was saying at the end of the race here, you sit in the car just for a couple of seconds before you get out, because if you get out too quick, you just go dizzy. It's just you've lost a lot of bodily fluids.
I don't know. It depends.
Depends how fit you are.
Yeah. When I won here, I got out straight away and I was jumping around. I think the adrenaline and the excitement takes over. And I remember I ran up, I keep telling people, I ran up the stairs to go up to the podium because I was so excited. And I got to the top and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out.
That's not a good look, is it? Racing driver out of breath.
No, it wasn't good. We have engineering meetings. Like today we'll have a meeting where we discuss what we're doing through the weekend. We'll discuss changes. I'll look at laps, for example, on here, like previous laps.
Oh wow!
And you look at all the drivers' laps from previous times.
And what are you learning from that?
Just visuals, looking at the track, looking how I drove, exits that I got, curbs that I used, curbs that I didn't use. So you just have a look and it just refreshes your mind as well.
despite all this effort and all this desire, Sebastian Vettel is still dominating Formula One. It puts into perspective how impressive he's been, I think, doesn't it? The fact that there's all this effort to try and beat him, and he's still a difficult fish to catch.
This is not like golf.
Yeah.
It's not like golf where the...
Let's push.
Yeah, go for it. It does say push. It's not like golf or tennis where the individual has all the power and all the control. Yeah. Here, you know, I've got almost 700 people, whatever, who are working together to build the car. And they'll build it one way, and another team will make it another way. And sometimes our way will work, and sometimes their way will work. Their way has worked all year, and we've been working hard to try and catch it up.
I can see a room over there with your name on. Can we have a small look at where you hang out for the weekend? Are you cool with that?
This is what we have at all the flyaways. This is generally what I have. Oh yeah, look, I got my suite.
You need those, do you? Can we?
Yeah, go for it. I love my suites. So.
How important is this? And let's take a couple of the frustrating races. Hungary and Monaco. Did you come back to a room like this, sit down and have a bit of time to yourself before going out there?
Yeah, luckily there's not too much stuff for me to go around. The couch is too heavy.
But is it important though, having your own space?
Yeah. You're not having photos taken, you're not bombarded by engineers, you're not doing media interviews, you're not doing appearances, you're not surrounded by people, and say what you want, do what you want, feel what you want.
And then amongst all that, you've got to try and race and win a Grand Prix. And finally, this weekend, Sebastian Vettel may well win the world title. Have you thought about what he must be going through? I mean, will he come to a little room like this if he doesn't have a few minutes on his own, do you think?
I think Sebastian, I can only assume he's massively relaxed. If you're winning, could possibly win a world championship 6 races before the end of the season, then you're not really stressed at all. When you're at the last race and everything depends on how you finish, how you perform that day, one little mistake can be out the window. That's what a cool pressure. But he's pretty relaxed. If he doesn't do it this weekend, he'll do it next weekend. Yeah. My battle right now is getting myself in a good position, winning as many as I can for the rest of the season and performing well. That's what makes me happy. And what we take from this year, what we learn from this year, we'll take into next year, and I pray that next year's car is a real killer.
So it's a big one for Lewis Hamilton. He starts just behind his teammate Jenson Button here. The first time Lewis Hamilton has been out-qualified at a Grand Prix, and as you can see, we're joined by Martin Whitmarsh, who's working hard to make sure that he can hear us, because it's incredibly loud down here with the cars running through the pit lane. I'm glad you can hear us. I'm glad that's sorted. That's what the thumbs up means. Just talk us through, though, what happened when Lewis made his way out to the grid, Martin. We spotted this as the cars were going out. Perhaps you can explain it for us.
Well, of course, what we're trying to do is make sure that they're prepared for the launch at the start of the race. So this is their last opportunity to characterise the clutch, to see how they can launch. So you'll see him pull up to the end of the pit lane. He pulled over. Interestingly enough, I have to say, he stopped, as you'll see in a minute, with some wheels on the painted finish, which isn't ideal. And in fact, after that launch, I announced, or I told the team vacuum working just to have a look at that, because they could have seen something strange in that launch which would have caused them to tune it incorrectly prior to the start of the race. So it wasn't actually an ideal launch preparation, but that's what he was trying to do.
Martin, the mindset for you and McLaren here, basically we can write off the championship, mathematically maybe not, but you want to win this race at all costs. Is that the way you're going to approach it?
Yep, that's exactly it. We want to win this race and all of the races. And here, I mean, this is a modern classic. We want to come here. It's a fantastic race. I think we were disappointed in qualifying, but we've got 2 cars on the second row. It's a very long race, as we know. A lot of things can happen. It'd be very unusual if there's not a safety car. It might rain. So a lot of things can go right or wrong. We'll see how it happens.
Martin, I can imagine there'll be contrasting management styles between what Christian Horner will be saying to his 2 drivers, given that Sebastian's this close to winning a championship, and what you might have to say to your 2 guys. You know, they both want to win this Grand Prix, so what is your briefing to them?
The briefing is, I mean, we've got 2 great racing drivers who we've seen on a few occasions this year really racing each other. So, you know, we're agnostic to the winner, providing it's either Lewis or Jenson. We don't care who wins.
OK, as long as it's someone. All right, well, good luck. But from one Martin to another. Martin Brundle is out on the grid for his grid walk. Martin, over to you.
Thank you. So pleased you could join me. Good evening, everybody. Standing under these lights must be what it's like in the hot food section of a restaurant buffet. Certainly warm enough down here. We're 85 miles north of the equator, and you certainly know it. Now, let's see if we can find ourselves a driver to talk to. Lewis Hamilton, 4th on the grid. And let's see if he's somewhere around his car. I hope he is. Could be really good to have a quick word with him. There he is now. We'll see if we can just butt in talking to his engineer. Final instructions as he's getting ready for the Grand Prix. And we'll see if we can grab a quick word with him now. Lewis, how's it going?
Long time no see.
Absolutely. Now, you've got something very special on your crash helmet that I know you want to show to the audience.
I did. I know we never really speak too much, but two people that I knew very well from my past days passed away just recently. An old friend, Martin Hines, who helped me so much. I wouldn't be here today without the help of him, and he passed away like a week ago. And so I just wanted to send my love out to him. And also my friend Christian Bakkerud, who I used to race against in go-karts. He had his funeral and also died last week. So, you know, dear friends of ours. So just wanted to send my love out to their family and wearing this for them. So.
Well, thank you for that. And Martin Hines, Mr. Car Team, of course, who did so much for so many young drivers. Now, it just reminds you, you've got to enjoy life while you can. And can you enjoy tonight's race?
I will, absolutely. You know, I was saying to my dad, and my dad was actually the one who suggested we do this. It was a great idea. And we're just thinking, you know, life, anything can happen. So you just got to make sure you enjoy every single moment. So.
Now, that puncture yesterday lost you a crucial set of tyres. Can you get around that in the race?
It's going to be tough. It's supposed to be a 2-stop, but you know, the wear life is not a problem. They can go for a long time, the tyres. It's just the temperature. And when the temperature gets too high, that's when you start struggling. But we should be all right. Fingers crossed my tyres will last. So.
Great to talk to you. Good luck. So, let's see if we can wander back. Fernando Alonso's car has come back onto the grid. He's very late on the grid. Felipe Massa starts the Grand Prix in 6th position. Let's see if we can go and have a quick word with him. We haven't spoken to him for a while on the grid. He's with Jean Todt. His manager is Nicolas Todt, Jean Todt's son. And we've got an absolute love-in going on here. And it looks like I'm going to miss out on this opportunity again to talk to Felipe. And can we just have a couple of questions while we're live? Felipe, have you got time to talk to us on BBC? Seems not. Let's wander around to the other side. There's a singer on the grid I was hoping to talk to, but I haven't seen him as yet. And we'll walk over. So Fernando Alonso then, he has got to get off the start line. And it's such a short run down to the first corner that his normal crazy starts. We saw it in Monza 2 weeks ago. He's got a limited opportunity to do that. But if he wants to stay in touch here with the Red Bulls, he's going to have to do that very early on indeed. So the first 2 or 3 corners is going to be absolutely critical for him. There's no doubt about it. Vijay Mallya, Force India. So you're in the top 10, Vijay. You must be pretty confident of some more points.
Well, absolutely, yes. I mean, we were very happy that both cars made it into Q3. And hopefully we will have a double points finish today.
Okay, good luck with that one. And we'll keep moving forward because I'm absolutely determined to have a chat with Sebastian Vettel if I get half a chance. We might have to get our elbows out seriously here. But he's over here, apparently leaning up against the wall, and we might just have to go steaming straight in on this one and have a quick word with Tanya from Sky. Thank you, Tanya. So kind of you. Yeah. Okay, really appreciate that. Tanya's moving over and letting us through. So, is it going to happen tonight?
What?
The championship.
I don't know. Ask the others. I don't know. I mean, it's a long race. You know, it's one of the toughest I think all year. The challenge is very big around here. It's hot, so we'll sweat a lot, and it's a long race, nearly 2 hours. So a lot of work before.
How much fuel have you got a fuel consumption problem? Is that going to be a major drama to manage that through the race?
No, I don't think so. I think everyone is a little bit in the same boat, depending on how big your fuel tank is. But I think we should be fine. Obviously, if the safety car comes out, it helps all of us. So we'll see.
Now, your teammate Mark Webber can stop you from winning the championship tonight if he beats you down in the first corner, or he might even help you win the championship. He could be your friend. He could be your biggest enemy.
Yeah, could be this way or the other way. I think, the most important for us is to keep our heads cool and try to do our race. and get our best result. So whatever that means, and then, you know, depending on what the others do.
Okay, I need to get out of here because I'm going to get beaten up shortly. Norbert Haug, the Mercedes-Benz boss, moving in to wish Sebastian Vettel the best of luck. Norbert, can you get in on the action with your Mercedes-Benz tonight?
Pardon me?
Can you get in the action, in the leader's action?
I think the 6 cars ahead of us normally are stronger, quicker. But we see, you know, a lot of things can happen here, and we need to make sure that we are there. We have fresh tires, option tires. Maybe that plays in our hands later on. But basically, the 6 cars have a better speed than us.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out on you. It might be interesting, actually, if the Mercedes-Benz leave a bit of a gap. It's going to help the front runners. As Tao Cruz is the man I was hoping to see, and I've just bumped into him. Tao, well, we're expecting some dynamite here tonight for sure from the drivers. This is the toughest race of the year, but what brings you to Singapore?
I'm going to be performing a little bit later on tonight at the Amber Lounge, so that's what actually brings me here, but I thought I might as well bask in the aura of Formula One while I'm around.
Is that your first Grand Prix?
I actually went to the one in Monaco as well, so, but this is the first time I've got to see the night race. It's very exciting. It looks very, very cool.
Now you're here with Ferrari, so will you be disappointed if Red Bull take the title?
No comments. No, absolutely. I'm 100%. I think that I don't know. I love Ferrari. I think that they could definitely do amazing things. So I've got my fingers crossed for them. Put it that way.
Okay, well, Ferrari and McLaren might be able to break the hearts of Red Bull, but very good to see you. Thanks for your time, Bernie, taking the dignitaries around the grid. It's all kicking off down here, isn't it? And let's see if we got a... He always goes on the podium when we have a quick word with Jensen. I suspect I'm a bit too late in the day. Are we too late, Jensen? Are we too late? You got your earplugs in, I suppose. You can't really hear me, can you? And just a quickie then, because I've got to go as well. So, third on the group...
I don't want to keep you.
Sorry, mate. I know, I've got a lot to do. It's going to be long, hard. I'm not looking forward to 2 hours of commentating. It's going to be hard work, let alone driving these things.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it, Martin, up there in your air-conditioned box? No, it is very tough around here. There's a 2-hour limit on the race, so it's not going to get any longer than that. But it's tough, but this is what we train for, I suppose. And it's going to be a tough one for us, I think, because if you look at our times on Friday, well, not mine, Lewis's, it looks like we're damaging rear tyres quite a bit. So we've got to hope that it's different today. We've made a lot of changes, and hopefully we can challenge those Red Bulls. They need a challenge this weekend.
How critical is the start?
Yeah, I need to get in front of Mark, and that's my aim. So got to be interesting, turn one.
Well, Jensen has a very clear mission down into the first corner to get ahead of Mark Webber. Back to you, Jake.
Martin, thank you very much. 1-0 to Jensen Button, I think you'll agree. One of my favourite moments.
He's become really very cool these last couple of races, hasn't he? He's very relaxed, he's very chilled, as he says himself. And, you know, it's a sign of a person who's exuding confidence, because we saw what he did in China and Canada, and I think he just steadily got better and better. And this is... You know, you can see it's so evident here how he's going about his racing. He's quick, he's enjoying it, and he's scoring lots of points.
Yeah, Jensen's been a very tough teammate this year for Lewis Hamilton. Today, though, Sebastian Vettel will hope that Mark Webber is the perfect teammate for him, because, of course, Red Bull can use Webber as a nice buffer between him and the current world champion. But to do that, Mark Webber will have to stay on the circuit. And last year, it was Mark and Lewis coming together that almost took them both off, and in the event, took Lewis Hamilton off. This was a big moment in last year's race, and the guys have got to be so careful round here.
Well, you know, this is a question of who takes who. Both drivers will blame each other, but it was a mistake. It shouldn't have happened. But then it's racing, isn't it? You'll always get these little 50-50 deals. One will suffer, one will make it. And in my opinion, it's a very hard one to call. Yeah. And just hope that we can have a really good race here.
And after a very tentative performance last time out in Monza, Martin Whitmarsh said he wants the real Lewis Hamilton back. Perhaps that's the real Lewis Hamilton, going for it all the time. And I think he is back this weekend, don't you? Strong qualifying, just 7 thousandths behind Jensen Button. We'll see how Lewis gets on. But what about the race? Well, we're getting very close now. Just a few minutes to go until it's lights out and the start of the Grand Prix. It's dark. Some people are already in their pyjamas. The question is, is the man on pole going to take the win? And this is why Sebastian Vettel is the man on pole.
It's a 23-corner, 3.15-mile lap here at the Marina Bay circuit. Sebastian Vettel on pole for the 11th time this season. Let's have a look at his lap. heading into turn 1 in 7, down to 3rd gear, 90 miles an hour. Turn 1 and 2 are effectively one corner. Turn 3 follows immediately. The front tyres not showing a lot of interest at this stage of the lap. They're still coming up to full temperature. 4 is a kink that's ignored. Turn 5 ahead of us, a 90-degree right-hand, and still the front end of the car sliding gently across the road. The kink of turn 6, absolutely full throttle, up to 185 miles an hour, very close to the rev limiter in 7th gear, a 90 left of turn 7, a false curb on the right-hand side to keep the cars in bounds. A 90-degree right-hander of turn 8. Now the front of the car is beginning to work very nicely indeed. A 90 left onto the back straight, up to 165 miles an hour. We're about to see a textbook driving style to get through the very difficult turn 10 chicane. Balance the car beautifully on the throttle. A difficult right-hander of turn 11, leading you into the left of 12. Over the Anderson Bridge, it's very narrow. A right-hand curve for the braking zone for 13. Now we've got a wide boulevard heading over the water of the marina. Bring it to the left-hand side at 170 miles an hour. We move into the final sector as the wall turns orange. This is where Vettel was 3/10 faster than any other driver. He absolutely attacks the end of the lap. This is the turn 15 braking zone into 16, just clipping the curb nicely up alongside the marina again. 130 miles an hour before we turn underneath the grandstand. Look how close he is to the wall on both sides of the track, leaving no time at all on the table. Ahead then is turns 20 and 21. Back end trying to step out, so close to the wall once again. 2 corners to go to the end of the lap. Sebastian Vettel, absolutely dominant in qualifying. Driving like that could well earn him a 2nd world title today.
104 seconds of being completely in control. So Sebastian Vettel starts on pole position. 2 German drivers just behind him, 7th and 8th on the grid, both driving for Mercedes. Let's hear from Ross Brawn, the team principal.
Ross, it feels a little cooler than in previous sessions, is that right?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, so not sure what difference that will make, but it is a little bit cooler.
So tyre wear is still going to be the biggest issue?
Yeah, it's really the abrasiveness of the surface here. If you look at the surface, it's really granular. And it gets the surface of the tyre really hot from the wear and the rubbing more than the temperature itself. I mean, obviously the temperature doesn't do any good, but it's mainly the surface.
OK, we'll watch out for it. Thank you.
We'll watch out for it indeed. So still 30 degrees here, still very hot, still very humid. A really difficult race for everybody, not just physically for the drivers, but for the teams to work out the best strategy here. Do you stop twice? Do you stop 3 times? How's it looking, do you think?
Actually, you've almost forgotten one. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 teams that will take a chance on one stop because the prime, they'll start in prime. We do know, or we've heard, that Force India will have double strategy with 2 different drivers. My guess is if that's the case, they've got to go in the harder tyre. That particular car, whichever it is, should actually go right into the middle of the race, and we'll need to see how that's going to evolve. Nevertheless, I think it's all down to Sebastian. He was so dominant in qualifying. He needs to make the first corner first, and really he needs to just drive away from there on in.
Well, that's exactly what he's done, because now, of course, if you're 1 second behind someone in Formula 1 and you get close behind them around a corner, you can use a thing called the DRS, which opens up the rear wing, it reduces drag, gives you a chance to overtake. Now, would have made a big difference here last year, Eddie. The question is, can it work? It's a relatively slow corner going around there. What do you think? Will we see plenty of overtaking?
Well, I'm surprised. If it was my opinion, I think this is not the right place for DRS. I think there is another area which is much better for a possible overtaking manoeuvre. And we like the overtaking, it's really exciting. When halfway through the season we saw too many overtakes, I was a little bit critical, but it's absolutely perfect at the moment. I think of all the places, this is not quite the right zone, but we will still see overtaking moves.
Well, perhaps it's not the right circuit. We can see what's happening out on the track at the moment, and we talked about perhaps only doing 1 stop. Perhaps that man, Checo Perez, will only stop once today as he gears up to go out and race today. And there he is, Fernando Alonso, the man who knows what it takes to win around here. You know, the man who has led the 3rd amount of laps apart from Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton is the safety car driver. So keep your eyes peeled for the safety car today. Right, live in both high definition and on BBC One in the company of Martin Brundle and David Coulthard. This is the 2011 Singapore Grand Prix. Just to let you know that if you press the red button during the race, you can ride on board with any driver, and the driver track is available on our website. One word answer, Eddie. Is Sebastian Vettel about to be crowned the Formula 1 world champion?
I think he's been so lucky, yes.
OK, good luck. Well, he's dominated Saturdays. He's punished his rivals on Sundays. He's been untouchable, unbeatable. But can he now win the title at the very first opportunity under the lights at night here in Singapore? Sebastian Vettel, it's over to you. Can you be the 2011 Formula One world champion tonight?